Eve Crew Descent Vehicle. Welcome back to Even Back, episode 16, question mark, by the way. So we need to get 8 people down to the surface of Eve, and I think I'm going to do that with, some sort of glider. And that is just the right size for 2 4-person things. Which means that, of course, using the other things, yeah. Magic. So that means that it's the perfect size to use 2 of these Mark II crew cabins, which means that we won't get like crew control, but we can have probe control, which the crew won't be too happy about, because but like, let's be real, they could just put a joystick in there and control it from there. So like, let's just play as if this is crew control from there, because Kerbal's selection of parts in this case is very limited, and if it was a real aerospace engineering program, they would simply build a thing for it. I'm very descriptive. They would build different seating part. My brain goes faster than my mouth can. And I also need a drink because I have been recording for a bit. One of those, we're going to want one of those. And we're going to want a battery. But because that's the only source of stuff on this, I am going to take 2 batteries. Now we don't want this docking port, we want the shielded docking port. Unless we dock to the side, which would probably be a better idea, all things considered, because we want the center of mass as close to the mass point as center of mass close to the mothership, so that it doesn't like wildly gyrate around an axis when you fire the engines up. Basically, we want it to be balanced, is what I'm saying, and it's much easier to balance if your weight is closer in. So that way, like any differences in weight between the Gilly Lander and the mothership thing, the descent vehicle, will be less pronounced because the distance is shorter. Because torque is force times distance, I believe. Yeah, force times distance. That sounds right. Now, getting this through Eve's atmosphere may prove to be a challenge, just because Eve is notorious for being evil and not letting my craft through the atmosphere. And I don't think I have the mass budget to whatchamacallit. I don't think I have the mass budget to like just full retrograde burn with like I do with the other ones. Because the mothership is rather short on Delta V, which is part of the reason why I kept the refueler attached to the end of it, so I could use its fuel. So we might actually have the mass margin now, but I am not 100% sure. We'll see. So we're going to want these wing things. We're going to want pitch surfaces. We're going to want roll surfaces. I'm not sure which ones are going to be which right now, or if they'll do double duty. Thermal. Let's put a heat shield on the front, like we do with the other thing, the ESREP 4, I think, whatchamacallit. The center of mass is a bit far back, so I want to add heavy stuff to the front, or just maybe move these surfaces back a bit. And then some surfaces for yaw stability would be advisable. And then a landing mechanism. Now, I kind of want to go skids with this, because you know how bad Eve can beat at landing gear, as evidenced by like the past 2 episodes. Like there was at least 2 or 3 episodes in there that were fully dedicated to design a new craft because of Eve's landing gear thing didn't like the first one. So let's see how it does with just these as landing gear. I'm gonna make these another tick this way, just because like tail striking the crew compartment would not be good. RCS, because we need to dock this thing to the mothership in the first place. They're kind of poking through, but I can change that with just a little bit of that. And these RCS do not need to survive atmospheric re-entry, so I can just stick like the non-re-entry types there and there-ish, because, I mean, granted, those are clipped inside the thing, so it's not completely realistic. But does it have to be? Not really. Get those engines a bit into a spot that makes a little bit more sense. And how much Delta V does this thing have? In a vacuum, please. 700. That's reasonable. That's actually probably too much if you're flying like super well, but I don't think I will be. Eve Crew Descent Vehicle. I don't think I need to do re-entry tests. It looks like it's going to be completely fine. I might add a solar panel or two just in case. Actually, hold on. Another thing. We do want to add an atmospheric antenna so it can talk to the comms network. Because losing communications with this when its only source of control is like probe control would not be good, to say the least. Do we need ladders? Nobody's ever going to get back in this thing, so I don't think we do. Although it would be really cool to like have like a little spot where you step onto the surface of Eve for the first time. Am I going to be that extra? Okay, you know what? I will include a very small, like little tiny platform off of the back to walk onto the surface with if it survives re-entry. And then maybe we can EVA from that hatch and jump back down onto there, and maybe it'll work. We shall see. So I'm going to put one crew in this to test that. Bob, you're up. And then do what we usually do in the glorious Kerbal Space Program, is just stick a solid rocket booster and a bunch of fins on here to test landing characteristics. And because this thing is like literally a plane, I mean big fins. And we want to take all the fuel out of this so that it's like at landing balance. And then we can go. Okay, testing. And hopefully this thing can land, because if it can't, I just spent this entire time on a design that isn't good. But then again, that's basically been this entire series in a nutshell. Constant redesigns because it wasn't good enough. Or in one case, constant redesigns because I forgot to set a slider properly because the game can't do wheels. Alright. Okay, I don't like how much speed we lost in that pull-up maneuver. It leads me to think that this may not be enough wing area. Granted, we have two of the smallest wings on here, so that's probably why. But like, it's a lifting body. And we have control surfaces, and it's going to be on Eve. Well, it's going to be on a mountain on Eve, so the atmosphere won't be that thick. There we are. And, actually, now that I realize it, we won't be landing on a runway. We will be landing on rough terrain. So I think we're going to want to repeat that test, doing like it on rough terrain, which that was a spectacular first attempt at landing though. So I think that this design is going to be okay without any modification, just to send up to the space station's mothership, assuming that this next landing test goes all right. We're gonna fly all the way over here to slightly rougher terrain. Imagine you just look up and this is flying past you. That might be a thumbnail. It's a really ridiculous thumbnail, but this is a really ridiculous... Okay, what did we lose? Okay, no, that thing lost one of its tail planes, so it's no big deal. Since it's like kind of night there, I can't tell where the ground is, so I'm going to switch to the ground level altimeter. 300 meters, 83 meters per second. Okay, we're going to do our flare here in a second. That was too early. So now we're going to just flop down. Okay, we survived. So I think that's good enough. Can we... Is this a hatch that we can transfer people out of on the back? It is not. That is deceptive advertising. I want my money back. So if I can get down here without too much effort and not fall over like that. Yeah, I don't think this platform's gonna work out unless we make it like a decent amount bigger, which I might. Or just add like ladders to the back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add ladders. And then straight to orbit with this thing. However, actually launching this would require me to choose the crew, so I might build a launch vehicle and then do that later. Yeah, let's build a launch vehicle. And let's make it look nice, since this is what people are going to be riding. How about the twin bore? I don't use the twin bore very often. Honestly, I would kind of like a single bore. Like, this is... It's not an awful engine. So, like, I can probably see an opportunity where I'd want one of these and not two of them. Like, maybe just a little bit in between the mainsail and the next actual true lifter engine. Which is probably one of the 1.875 meter DLC ones. Anyway, I don't know. So this is the launch vehicle, which I'm almost completely certain has enough Delta V. It's probably way overkill. So now, the Gilly lander. Now, I'm kind of inspired to go like really small on this. Not like complete mass shaving, but like I don't know. Since I have better time warp installed, I kind of want to do like ion engines or something like that. But that might be a bit much. So I'm going to probably just do really small, one-man, tiny rocket, basically, just to pop to Gilly and back. Because, you know, minimalism is cool. Now, how much Delta V does that need? Hold on, let me pull up my trusty Delta V map. We're going to need about 3.4 kilometers per second of Delta V to get out there and back. Which is about how much we have right now. Like, we just need a little bit extra. I mean, of course, we need a docking port, too. We want that. So that cuts our Delta V down significantly when every little bit counts. Yeah, that'll work. We need electricals, of course. And then we're going to need, like, a little bay for, like, probe core and whatnot, which will cut into our Delta V budget. Not a ton, but a decent amount. So on our Octo, like we usually do, we want a rechargeable battery bank. I don't think a reaction wheel is necessary, but let's take one just in case. Because, like, we're still above Delta V budget, but only by a little bit, so we might double up on these tanks. And then we have 4 kilometers per second, which should be a reasonable amount. We also would love docking RCS. And that should be reasonably at the center of mass. There we go. And this little RCS in the capsule should be more than enough to dock. So, Gilly Lander. And we'll name that when we get there. We get there when we get there. So now we just need to launch this. Is this narrow enough to fit in the 1.875? With a little bulging. Yeah, so let's do a 1.875 meter launch vehicle. It's been a while. So that. Then we got a Cheetah. And then we'll stick a Bobcat beneath that. That should be... Okay, no, that's not enough because our thrust-to-weight ratio sucks. So you know what we do when our thrust-to-weight ratio sucks? More boosters. Let's launch this to the mothership. And then we launch the Gilly thing to the mothership. And that will hopefully be the last Kerbin launch of the series. Unless it turns out that I've forgotten something. We're this close. We are this close to getting to Eve. 3, 2, 1. What are you doing on the ship, Agapont Kerman? Hold on. Yeah, there's a Kerbal in there. That's the right way, right? Okay, yeah. So we're gonna have to either maybe she gets to go to Eve. Maybe we can find a way to send her back. I don't know. Actually, there is a. You can have a Kerbal just straight up survive re-entry on her own. I think I'm gonna do that because I wanted to name like everyone on this mission after subscribers, and I might end up just leaving Jeb, Bill, and what should we call it? Val in orbit. Okay, nothing important exploded there. Imagine if that's how they just dealt with real rockets. Like, oh, nothing important exploded. So yeah, the idea was that they would go to orbit. What was I saying? My train of thought just went off a cliff. So yeah, the named Kerbonauts that like always get to go to Eve, they are staying in orbit pretty much, I'd say. They're staying in Eve orbit, and then 8 not subscribe. Well, they probably are subscribers, but like I was just gonna like go through the videos and like look at the first 8 people that have commented, and then I was gonna name the Kerbals after them, and then we could explore Eve with them. And then that stage is dead, so we can detach that, detach the fairing to reveal our absolute. It ended up a lot bigger than we needed it to be. Like if I was going true minimalist, I could have gone way, way, way smaller. That is a reasonable distance. Descending node burn northward. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, more or less, and then we can push retrograde to anti-target like Rendezvous usually goes, and then profit. Imagine if I had to like actually turn a profit from these missions, or like at least justify it to a taxpayer. Another serious idea would be like do a cool mission, but you're cost limited. Like do the coolest mission you can on X amount of funds. And I greatly overshot the mothership, but that's fine. Doesn't matter that much. Yeah, this engine, this upper stage is significantly less powerful than what I usually use. And that says a lot when my upper stage is producing about 1G right now. Because 1G is hideously overpowered for most real-world upper stages, except when they're like at the end of their burn. Like I know like the upper stage of the Falcon 9 gets up to like something like 60s or something like that, depending on the mass of the payload. But to be fair, the second stage of the Falcon 9 is huge. That is not typical of normal rockets. Like anything with the Centaur, that's not very much thrust-to-weight ratio at all. I think I'm going to put this one on top, and I'm going to put the plane thing on the bottom, because like I can hang underneath there, and it would still have the right side up cockpit. So I can detach this, and then I can... Do I want to use the RCS now? Because I don't have much of it. And I think I can dock this. I know, I'll save the fuel, because like, that thing doesn't really contain oxidizer, so I will use the RCS here. It doesn't contain monopropellant either, but like, let's be honest. We're going to use like maybe three RCS units for this docking. It's not hard docking. There goes one RCS unit. There goes 2 RCS units. And we're not even going to use... Okay, we did use 2.5 there. Just barely. And we are docked. So now we have to deal with this stowaway. Which, sorry, Agapont, but you aren't going back to Eve. You kind of have to go home now. So the first step in returning a Kerbal to Eve with nothing but their own jetpack is you want to decrease the periapsis to just above the atmosphere. Like, basically 71 kilometers. Wait, that is close enough. You want time warp there. Then you want to burn retrograde until the periapsis, the apoapsis is really low as well. 73, 72, 71. Yeah, that's about right. And then as you go there, once you get sufficiently low in the atmosphere, you want to burn up to keep yourself from burning up. Yeah, that makes sense. Then you want to burn retrograde to slow yourself down. So free camera helps a lot with this. I'm going to do a quick save here, because I'm not entirely sure. Because like I know it's possible, but like it's very risky. And having an EVA canister with it, I don't think I've ever used an EVA fuel canister, like ever before. Oh hey, I might be able to like aim for the Kerbal Space Center if I do this well enough. And, okay, I'm starting to overheat, so I am going to do my up and retrograde maneuver here and use all my remaining fuel. And hopefully I will not... Okay, I don't want to go all the way up, because that is... I don't want... Because we are at only 65 kilometers. And if we can get ourselves below like a reasonable velocity, like I don't know what a reasonable... Like, if we get ourselves below 1600, it's pretty much guaranteed that we won't burn up. And we are at like 1800 right now, and that's orbital velocity. Our surface velocity will be lower. And we actually do want to go down now so we can like get low enough to... I don't think we're going to make the Kerbal Space Center, but we might be able to make the island airport. Honestly, I don't think we will. And that's all of our RCS fuel, and I don't think we're going to burn up. We got pretty close. We're not going to burn up. And surface velocity... Oh yeah, we're going to totally make the island airport. Well, actually maybe not, because the altitude on the parachute is 5 kilometers. And yeah, that's a reasonable glide distance to making 5 kilometers. Wouldn't it be cool if we can EVA her into the the control tower at the at the thing, the whatever, the airport? So now we need to wait a bunch. Yeah. So that is how you return a Kerbal to Kerbin using nothing but the EVA jetpack and the parachute. I am not responsible for any damages caused by attempting this. And 5 kilometers. And now we wait. This is exactly what killed, what's her name? This is exactly what killed that one Kerbal in Kerbal Jank program. Which, the reason I'm not continuing that is some of the mods are starting to glitch out, and I'm not entirely sure if I can replace them reasonably. Plus, I think I did end up getting to Zuna with the probe, but I'm not entirely sure where to go. Actually, no, hold on. I think I do... I don't remember. I don't know if I can concretely say anything about Kerbal Jank program at this point. Solar Station, the reason that's slowed down recently is I've realized that the thing that I've been building towards doing, which I'm not going to elaborate on that because it's still a bit of a surprise, is that I'm not actually the first person to do that. I thought I was I didn't look it up because who would be crazy enough to do what I'm planning on doing in that series. I do think part of the next video is recorded, but I'm not entirely sure how much. And of course Gold Rush is just always in a perpetual state of limbo. I work on it in bursts when my motivation allows, and I just haven't had a burst for that in a while. So that's where my series are. Unless you count Reusable Space Program as an active series, which is 2 or 3 computers ago. That's how old that is. I could do a RimWorld series, but that is a lot of hard drive space because that game tends to take forever, and I could not do a live commentary on that because my voice would just explode and I cannot make entertaining talk about something like that for a while. So, but the thing is, any other type where it's post-commentary, there'd be a lot of editing to make coherence because I can't just speed that up and put a voiceover over it like I can with Kerbal. So I'm not entirely sure how a RimWorld series would work. And FTL, I've done that before, but again, that's long episodes, a lot of talking. I don't know if there's any good other games that I own that I can reasonably there's a very narrow crossover between games that I enjoy playing and games I enjoy making videos on. Okay, I need to concentrate. Can I get in here? Oof. Okay. I was really close. I was going too fast. I tried to slow down, but I just face planted. Welcome back to Kerbin, Agapont. Sorry, you're not going to Eve.